Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora Stefrak from Translucent Truth Yoga to deliver you the weekly intuitive energy update for the week of December 27th, 2021. So welcome if you are new, welcome back if you have been here before. This is a timeless reading, so it's the first thing that's going to come out of my mouth, so I can let you know that if you found this video and it is past the date of this week passing, just trust that it is a vibrational match for whatever it is that you're going through, whatever guidance that you're needing, whatever you've been asking the universe for help for. This is the information. So just as you're listening, just trust, just open up your heart, open up your mind, and just allow to receive the information that is going to be coming through today. So this is the last energy update for 2021, and we're actually going to be this week entering into the new year. So this is very, very potent ending and beginning energies, right? Especially numerologically, which I'm going to get into that. Numerologically, we are entering into a 6-year from a 5-year, okay? And so I will get into what that means in a minute. But we're in this shifting energy right now, right? And next year is going to be a huge spiritual activation for everyone, okay? Basically because we're integrating this new reality that we are now all living in, right? You know, the last 2 years have been really rickety, really wild, and now we're kind of anchoring in this new normal, right? Realizing that it's something we have to create. It's not something that's just going to poof exist, right? So learning that we are the creators of our reality, learning how the truth of reality really works, learning about our energetic bodies, our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, true health, instead of masking things with medication or with pills or wanting a band-aid fix or something like that, right? Again, not against Western medicine at all. It's just there's a time and a place for everything, right? So yeah, health preservation is really should be your focus versus healing an illness necessarily. Of course, we all get to that point, but really like keeping our health in check, keeping our daily habits, creating rituals with them, things like that, right? So instead of waiting for something catastrophic to happen for you to love yourself, for you to give yourself some time, for you to give yourself some energy, for you to just take care of yourself, it's not necessary, right? You can just choose. You can just choose, hey, I am going to take care of myself. I'm going to love myself so that I don't have to get into this very imbalanced state, right? So we're going to get a lot into the spiritual side of things, which we usually do, but this is really, really exciting that on a collective level, we are going to be ushering in this new way of being, And I'm just gonna clear the energy. I was gonna do it before, but I decided I wanted to bring all of this beautiful cleansing energy onto the screen, onto the video, so that we can all just take a moment together to really clear out 2021 and honor it and thank it and laugh and cry and feel the whole spectrum of all of our emotions, because it's coming to a close. You've made it. You made it through 2021. So as this beautiful plant medicine clears, purifies, and cleanses our aura, I'm calling in your higher self, a connection with source, with God, consciousness, as this sage is purifying your field, my field, the collective field, anybody that comes in contact with this, anybody that's open to receiving this right now. I call you forth and I allow you into my sacred space. I allow you to connect back to your own birthright, to your own free will, to your own sovereignty, to your own divinity, to realizing your free will again. So nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can control you any longer. Because you're a beautiful sovereign being. I wish you guys could smell it through the screen. If you have your own sage at home, join in. Okay, beautiful. So I'll just let that burn out. Now I was going to play my bowls, but maybe I'll end with it because I'm just not really being guided to right now to play the bowls. I'm being guided to just keep talking. So, because here we are for the energy update. Okay. Awesome. So, I guess, where do I want to begin? Yeah, I guess I'll just start with the numerology, right? The numerology of the year that we've had and where we're going and what that really means energetically. Shout out to my beautiful friend Alagonda for gifting me this beautiful piece of bumblebee jasper with rose quartz here. She's amazing. What's her business name? Artesian Goddess. Artesian Goddess, if you want to find her stuff. She's really, really amazing. Okay, so guys, where do I begin? So we're gonna start back in 2020 actually. So because I saw this post and it made me laugh, and it was just 6:39. And it made me laugh, and it said, "Uh-oh, 2022 is 2022, like TOO, like as well." So that made me laugh because energetically, like there's really been no close off necessarily for the energies from 2020. It's like we kind of have like a before COVID and after COVID, right? Like there's not really, we don't really think of it as the year. We think of it as like a before COVID and after COVID, right? So if 2022 is going to be like 2022, that means that it's going to be a wild year. And honestly, it really is. Like the energy that is going to be coming forth. So back in 2020, it was a 4-year. Okay. So when I get this by adding 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, that's 2020. Numerologically equates to a 4. Okay. And 4 is all about foundations, okay? So, and then 2020 is all about vision, right? So foundations, being able to see the foundations clearly. I talked a lot about like kind of pulling up the rug and seeing what's been swept under the rug for a long time. We're still in that energy of the truth surfacing. And that's why I'm saying we're really taking back our sovereignty and really stepping on our spiritual journey and our spiritual path this year coming, to really anchor in the last 2 years. Okay, so 2020 equates to a 4 numerologically. A 4 means it's our foundations. Okay, so if you didn't have a solid foundation, you were very clearly able to see that you didn't have a solid foundation, and then you've been dealing with that ever since, right? You may still be in that energetic runoff of 2020 and your foundation being shifted. So that was 2020 with clear vision and foundation and the truth surfacing. Like the third eye is represented by the clear vision, which is like the veil being lifted, the illusion being lifted, and to be able to see beyond the illusion, okay? To be able to access the truth, right? But there's this thing called cognitive dissonance that happens, and that is when kind of like the human, like we can't process reality kind of. So then we kind of detach and we kind of leave our body, and enter this state of psychosis. And so what that does is you're just really disconnected from your true self, from your soul, from your spirit, right? And so what happens when we're in trauma, when we're in a situation that we cannot handle, the soul leaves the body. and the body is here still, right? And so that's why when we don't feel like when we're in our body, when we feel like we're above our body, almost like our consciousness is like up here somewhere, like you don't feel right here in your body. Okay, so that is something that happens during cognitive dissonance and psychosis. Okay, and this is all a part of awakening, right? In order for you to awaken, in order for the ego to be integrated into a healthy, balanced state with spirit, we have to go through the darkness. We have to go through the shadow. We have to acknowledge aspects of ourselves that we may not want to acknowledge, okay? And that is just part of it. Is a lot of people call it the dark night of the soul, okay? And so what this is us like getting raw, getting real, getting honest. Like what is serving us, what is not. What aspects of myself do I not want to look at? What am I ashamed of? What makes me uncomfortable about myself, right? And so to really learn how to integrate these parts of you and to realize, wait, this is an aspect of myself. And if I don't acknowledge this aspect of myself, then I'm not going to be whole. I will have holes, right? And that's my whole little joke about finding your W, right? Finding your W is going from whole to whole, right? So you find the W, you go from whole, HOLE, to WHOLE, right? That's also why my shop is called a holistic metaphysical shop with a W. It's not that I don't know how to spell. Everything I do is with intention, okay? So the reason that I did that is because of my whole little joke about finding your W, really filling yourself and being whole, right? Filling your cup. So I wanted to basically create a new way of spelling the word, which kind of adds a whole nother dimension to the word holistic, right? Because that's what I'm here for. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to be experiencing this awakening this year, and numerologically, 2022 is a 6, okay? And so a 6, whenever I see a 6, a lot of people think it's like associated with the devil. It was just 1221, which represents as above, so below, like mirroring, right? So a lot of people think that 6 represents the devil, which, whatever. Really, what the devil represents is the material world, right? Your lust, your desires, your humanly desires and stuff, and making decisions from that place of the ego, of the I, of just serving yourself versus making a decision to benefit all, right? And so as we're going to be entering into 2022, we're going to be really having to come back to ourselves over and over and over, to our truth, to our just ourselves in general. When anything's going to happen, you have to learn to create a space, because then you need to be able to decipher and to be able to figure out, wait a minute, is this in alignment with me or is this not? And there's going to be a lot of, there already is a lot of confusion around health, which the darker powers have done on purpose to keep us in a lower vibration, to keep us confused, to keep us feeling worthless, to keep us small. Because then if we are empowered, and if we do if we shine our light and we really take up space, then that ripples out to other people. And then if we're all empowered as a society, then we can't be controlled and manipulated. You just can't, right? So what they have done is they've filtered our consciousness, and they have programmed us to not feel good enough, to stay in our depression, to attach onto our shadow, to find comfortability within that place of darkness, which is okay. But there's more to life than suffering, right? And so that's the whole thing with this next year coming, right? So 2022 is going to be a huge spiritual awakening, and I get huge goosebumps as I'm saying this right now, and I'm so excited. When I did my meditation for the winter solstice, the energies were all about celebration. And now in that moment, our humans that all showed up in that space, we were not in celebration mode. We were in purging mode. We were in dark night of the freaking soul mode. We were in like, I hate being in a human body, get me the fuck out of this mode. Okay, we were not celebrating. We were all in our shit. We were all like very emotional, our hearts were tender. But up in the higher realms, we were reminded of all of the work that we've done, and we were praised, and we were, held up on a pedestal, because these beings, these spiritual beings that don't incarnate in human form, they really honor us, and they're really grateful for the work that we're doing. Even though we're in a physical body here, like, this is one of the biggest, especially incarnating as a human, one of the biggest responsibilities that we can have as a soul, to come here and to you know not reverse karma, because you don't really reverse it, but integrate karma for the human collective, okay? And like, it's really an intense job, right? This is a very dense reality, and we come from the realms of light, where we do not have this much duality and polarity and suffering and pain, right? And so we are learning how to be this pillar of light for humanity, so that we can really stand in our power, in our sovereignty, in our truth. So there may be some people that wake up this year that have never even thought about spirituality, that have never even, like, even the word God turns them off, right? I remember when I felt that way as well, and I wouldn't even give any of my attention to it, because I just didn't understand it, and I didn't really care to understand it, right? And now, on my path of healing, on my path of finding myself, stepping in my sovereignty, all that good stuff, I try not to say God, because of the negative connotation with it. But at the end of the day, we're all talking about the same thing, right? Whether I say source, whether I say the universe, the fabric of reality, I don't know, whatever word you want to put on it, right? So sometimes I like to use that word, because it is a word that people do kind of understand too, right? It's like they understand it, but they don't understand it, right? So anyways, we are learning to connect to our divinity. We are learning how to open up our crown chakra, okay? Because a lot of people don't have an open crown chakra, which is why you experience so much depression, anxiety, different things, like on a spiritual level, on an energetic level. It's because your crown chakra is not open. And in order for you to have a healthy, balanced flow of energy, you have to have an open crown chakra, right? So that you're able to connect to the universal life force energy, and you're able to also bring it into your body. Okay, so learning how to open up that crown and learning how to connect to this higher power, and this is what's going to allow, and your intuition, your soul, your guidance. Like, the human has so much guidance in this lifetime for where they're going to go, the choices that we have. It's just we're unconscious of it, right? And so when we wake up to these higher realms, to these beings that are here guiding us, it allows for us to trust. It allows for us to, live a magical life, because we are trusting in the universe that it will provide for us always. And while the human may feel like everything's so treacherous and everything's so painful and everything so much, it's because it's part of your awakening. Elizabeth April is a really beautiful soul that I follow here on YouTube, and she wrote a book. It's called You Are Not Dying, You Are Waking Up, okay? And I have crazy goosebumps as I'm saying this, because it's the truth, okay? Also called truth bumps, right? When spirit works through your body, that's your intuition, that's the wisdom of your body communicating with you and saying, oh wow, yeah, that feels good, right? And one of the main things that a lot of people have said to me over the years, well, one of them was like, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I have never told anybody this. And I used to think it was like some joke, because everyone said it to me. I was like, really? Like, are this many people just, like, lying to me? And then I learned, oh wait, it's because of who I am. I create a safe, sacred space for people to feel open, to feel vulnerable, to trust me, to really open up and share these deepest, darkest aspects of themselves. And now look at my life, right? So it only makes sense. But oh yeah, that was the other thing I was gonna say. The other thing people say to me all the time is, oh wow, makes so much sense. Wow, that makes so much sense, right? And I would hear it over and over, and then I started realizing, I was like, Right, because shit should make sense. Shit should not make sense. Like when people are confused, when you don't know what to do, when you're in this energy of like confusion and uncertainty, then that's when I really urge you to quiet the mind, to quiet the heart, to connect to yourself so that you can really hear the whispers of of your soul to guide you, of your higher self, of the universe, of all the archangels and dragons and fairies and whatever it is that you connect with, these higher spiritual realms, right? So when we can really quiet ourselves and really connect into our heart space, then we're able to navigate our world, our realms easier because we know our truth. We know what healthy is. There's a lot of things that we weren't taught, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. You are innately worthy. Nobody can tell you what you are or are not worth. You just are worthy. You are deserving, right? And this is a new paradigm that we're having to step into because our whole lives we've been told that we're not good enough, that we're too loud or we're too quiet or we're too this or we're not enough that or whatever it is, and really breaking down those mental beliefs, those mental barriers that keep you limited and that keep you small and that stop you from really experiencing a beautiful, abundant life that's available, right? And so that's what the beauty of healing does, okay? So as much as this year coming is gonna be a spiritual activation for everybody, it's also the dark night of the soul, okay? And so what that means is that in order for us to awaken, we have to awaken to the darkness, to our darkness, to the world's darkness, right? Because if we don't talk about things, if we just shove them under the rug, if we just like go on to the next thing, eventually it will surface. Eventually it comes up. And this includes your childhood trauma. This includes any trauma from relationships, from past partners, from a friend, from whatever it is. If you got hurt and you did not love yourself in the way of putting your peace back in place, realizing that whatever it is that happened was there to teach you and to take your lesson from that, and to know that everything that happens in life is just guiding you closer and closer to yourself, right? So we leave fragments of ourselves in time, and that's why in our heart you may feel this really deep pain, this really deep like heartache, like a void, because we have built walls to keep us safe and to keep us protected. And now we are our wisdom is being activated so that we know where to navigate. We know ourselves, so we know, should I be here or should I not? And we listen. We really listen, okay? We really honor the guidance that comes from all people around us as well, right? Whether or not you resonate with somebody or not, it doesn't mean that they don't have something to teach you. They could be teaching you more unconditional love, for you to allow for people to have their own opinions, to have their own way of life, you know? Release and surrender any control of needing to be God. You know, that's what I just heard, like, be God, to tell people what is right and what is wrong, and really there is no right and there is no wrong, because everything is teaching us, right? So our shadow selves, the darkness within us, the darkness within the collective of humanity, it's going to be having a light shone on it. So for somebody that has been doing a lot of the work for a lot of years, you're probably in a position like me where you're stepping into your path of being a way show, or being a light worker, of being this spiritual warrior on this path to help people really understand like their own reality. It's not the world. They don't need to understand the whole world or the whole universe. They just need to understand themselves and their reality, right? So if you're in a place right now where you are lost, where you are confused, where you don't know what to do, ask questions. Start asking the questions. Well, what can I do? Where do I go? How do I get help? And then listen, and just keep coming back to listening, because you will receive answers, and it's in ways that nobody can tell you because it comes from within. You can come and see me and I can give you a reading, but I don't do the work for you. That's for you to do. That's for you to self-study, you know, it's all the self-study, right? And so as we learn more higher awarenesses of how to deal with things, of how to process things, as we learn our emotional body, our mental body, and how it works, our physical body, how does our nervous system work? What is the function of our ego? You know, how does that show up in our reality? Oh, you mean there's a bunch of different inner aspects of me, like my inner child and my inner mother and my inner father, and I don't know what else is part of me. My inner dialogue, how I speak to myself, how I speak to others. I mean, I could just keep going on different aspects of yourself that you can heal, even though you are only one being. You are the entire universe in one being, right? So, in order to keep that universe balanced, it does take some effort. It takes a lot of effort, actually, because as much as the physical body is constantly bringing us back into alignment, into healing as much as possible, if we are not working with the body, then the body will do whatever it can to function properly, right? And so that's why some people get cancer and why some people get different illnesses and different things that come into their reality, because anything that you are diagnosed with, it is curable. And I don't know if I should really be saying this right now, but it's a spiritual lesson, okay? That's really what it comes down to. I believe that everything is just here to teach us. It is just to teach you, right? So how you're out of balance, that's all it means. It means you're out of balance. And how can you bring yourself back into balance, right? So without going too deep down the rabbit hole and getting myself in trouble here, I'm going to just end it with that. And just to say that whenever you are sick, whenever you fall ill, whenever there is something that is wrong with you, where you do not have your health, it's just an imbalance within the body. And so you're just being asked to heal yourself, to love yourself, to come closer to your true authentic self, okay? And so that comes with taking care of yourself, making sure you're eating enough proper food and water and the whole 9 yards, right? Sleep is huge. Like if I don't get my sleep, I'm a nutcase. Like I really need my sleep. And in order for me to feel grounded and in my body, I need good sleep. I need to make sure I eat properly, drink enough water, all of it, right? Which reminds me, I could have a drink of water right now. Exercise as well. Wow, okay, I haven't even looked at my notes this whole time. Channeling. Okay, so I do need to back up. Now that I've got all that out, I do need to back up because I went right from 2020 to 2022, kind of missed 2021. So 2021 numerologically is a 5, okay, guys? And 5s are all about change, okay? So 2020 was a 4, all about clear vision and our foundations, lifting up the rug to see what's under there, finding the truth, okay? 2021 was all about change, okay? So there was probably a lot of different dynamics. Like it never really felt like you were in one place long enough to really do this or to do that. And there was just this constant flow of movement. And that's because, again, numerologically, it's a 5. We were learning how to adapt. I also have adaptation, freedom, and adventure, right? So we were getting a taste of freedom, which is so ironic because of the state of the world. I sound so silly saying freedom, but it's true, right? To step into our own personal freedom, okay? Choosing what is where's the line in the sand, basically. Creating boundaries, not tolerating what you may have tolerated before, because back in 2020 you opened up your eyes and you looked at the truth of situations, and then 2021 allowed for you to get into moving the foundation of checking out, wait, do I want to live here? Do I want to live here? Do I want to work here? What do I want to do here? What about that? And again, it may not have been like a conscious choice. It may not have been like, oh, I am choosing to do this consciously. No, it could be like maybe you lost a job, or maybe you lost your home, or maybe that redirected you into a whole new direction, right? And it's in those moments where you really got to trust the universe for what it is guiding you to, okay? If you were somebody that didn't want to get the V, that had to get that quit their job, and that led them down a whole new career path. Or if you were somebody that did get it just to stay in your job and you realize, shit, this went against everything, every fiber of my being, what am I doing? It's waking you up. It doesn't matter what choice that you've made, every choice is the right choice, okay? Like, honestly. And giving yourself that grace as you move through these energies too, okay? So yeah, so that was last year. Last year was all about, which this year that we're just exiting out of, it's all about change, okay? Rearranging, meeting new people, letting go of old people, strengthening your belief in who you are, things like that. Changing belief systems just in general, changing the way you perceive reality, things like that. And then 2022 is a 6. So again, this is, are we focusing on the spiritual or are we focusing on the material? Okay, so every time you see a 6, you ask yourself, am I focusing on the spiritual or am I focused on the material? Now, they do overlap, okay? So, for example, like if you want something in the material, you can still have it connected to your spiritual journey. Like, for example, my shop, right? Like, that was merging the two, merging the spiritual and the physical together. So really what I mean by like the material, it would be like self-serving stuff, right? Like just a consumerism mentality of, and like greed and lust and lack even, right? These are all kind of words to describe the focus on the material. And if you're going to focus on the spiritual, this is all about for the good of all, okay? When I heal me, I'm not just healing me for myself, I'm healing me for all of humanity. I'm healing me so that we can make a ripple in this world, so that we can really learn to embody these higher aspects of ourselves, so that we don't have to get screwed over all the time, so that we don't have to live in a world that's so fucked up, right? As much as that is for me, I do it for all. Whenever I do a prayer, whenever I say anything, whenever I set my intention, it is for the highest good of all, right? So you're focusing on the whole picture versus just you, the I, the ego, right? So that's really what I mean when I'm saying, are you focused on the material or are you focused on the spiritual, right? Are you being of service or are you self-destructing? Are you creating, like throwing your litter out everywhere? Are you like creating a mess everywhere that you go? It was just 32, right? So it's like asking these questions as you make your decisions, right? Are you focused on the material or are you focused on the spiritual? Are you focused on fear or are you focused on love? Okay, are you focused on lack or are you focused on abundance? Okay, so what else do I have here? So embodiment of the heart. So I also looked up the numerology of 6 before I came on, and they say it is the embodiment of the heart. So this is why 2022 is going to be a very spiritual year, because everybody's heart is going to be activating. And in order, when our hearts activate, that means that also our pain activates, but that also means that our unconditional love activates, right? And in order for us to truly unconditionally love, we need to have a pure heart, because then you don't have any intention behind that unconditionality that is self-serving, right? And so when we learn to activate our heart in a whole healed way, then we're able to live our life from that space. Whereas if we have our guard up, if we're worried somebody's gonna screw us over, if we're still living from that fear, lack mentality, then we will not be able to fully receive unconditional love, because we'll always be like, well, wait a minute, what do you have up your sleeve? What do you really want from me? I don't trust you. And like, that is very wounded energy, which is not a bad thing necessarily. It's just having the awareness that, oh wow, I'm living from my wounded space right now, and I really would like to live from a more whole space. So it's like, wait a minute, why don't I trust people? Oh, right. Sorry, I was choking on my saliva. It's like, wait, why don't I trust people? Oh, because I've been screwed over in the past. Oh, right, I just wanted to help this person. It was 34. I really wanted to help this person, and then they screwed me over. Or they were trying to help me and then screwed me over. I was very vulnerable. I was in a place where I didn't have anything or anyone, and then they fucked me over too, right? It was like these things that have happened. And this is why it's so important to look back at your life, okay? This is part of the dark night of the soul, is to say, why have I lived the life that I've lived? Why have I had the things happen that have happened to me? And learn how they've happened for you, okay? Learn how it's helped you and taught you and helped you evolve into this beautiful version of yourself that you are, right? So good. Okay. So then we have unconditional love and the ability to support, nurture, and heal. So that's what 2022 is going to help us. And also this has 3 twos in it, okay? And 2s are all about duality and polarity, okay? So opposites. So opposites are actually the same thing. One of them has this and one of them lacks whatever's on this side, and vice versa, right? So we have 3 twos. Sorry, I forgot my train of thought. I'm like, what am I talking about? So we have 3 twos, and this represents duality and polarity, okay? And so we're gonna have this pull between right and wrong, especially out in the world right now. Like, what's right and what's wrong? Well, I mean, whatever you fucking want to do in your own life is what's right for you. What's wrong is telling people what is right for them when you have no idea, right? And again, there is no real right and there is no real wrong, right? It's just about saying, like, what is good for me may not be good for you, and what is good for you may not be good for me. And that's okay, right? But the thing is that people want to constantly have the sense of control and of power and of security. And if they feel like they can tell other people how to live their lives and that this is the best way to do it, it boosts their ego and makes them feel good. But what they don't realize is that good intentions lead to hell as well, right? And that's a little saying. Just saying that just because you have good intentions, it doesn't mean that it is of good, if that makes sense. Like, just because I'm like, oh my god, I really want you. Okay, here's an example. My friend's allergic to coconut oil, and I love coconut oil. I put coconut oil on everything. Like, I put it on my face, I put it in my hair, I eat it, I do everything with it. But he's allergic to coconut oil. So for me to say, oh my god, coconut oil is like so amazing and I love it so much, put it all over your body, freaking brush your teeth with it, like put it in your hair, everything like that. Well, he's kind of allergic to it, so it's not going to serve him, right? And that's just a really simple example just to, illustrate to you guys that what does not work for some will work for others and vice versa, right? Just stop pushing your opinions on other people and really go within and strengthen that belief, because when you strengthen that belief and you allow other people to live their lives, I can already feel it in my heart as I'm saying this. It's like, well, I have a solid foundation. I know my truth. I stand in my sovereignty. So when someone comes to me with something that doesn't resonate with me, I'll know that it doesn't resonate with me because I've already sat with my belief and I've already anchored in my truth. And that's not to say that it can't evolve and it can't change, but that way when someone comes in and tries to tell me how to live my life, I go, oh, actually, no thank you, that doesn't serve me. And then I move on instead of it creating this huge, crazy kerfuffle of energy, right? You just already know. You already know who you are. You already know that they don't know you as good as you know you. So you get to make the choices that are best for you. Really no more, no less than that. Okay, guys. So I've been rambling. Hopefully you've been enjoying it. Oh yeah, and then people pleasing. Okay, this is going to be a huge one too. So people pleasing. So with this energy of are you focused on the material or are you focused on the spiritual, this also brings in this idea of people pleasing, okay? And so, I mean, it's a very normal and natural human response when you're out in the world, when you're connecting with people. We all want to be loved. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. We all want to be validated. We all want to be liked. You know, these are very basic human wants and needs, right? And we operate from an unconscious part of ourselves where we may do things that we don't want to do, like at all, but we do them anyways because we want that approval, basically. Okay, so again, nothing wrong necessarily with this, but this comes into boundaries, into knowing yourself and knowing what it is that serves you and that doesn't, right? And so when we can shift out of this people pleaser energy, which, okay, for example, I used to do this a lot with my mom growing up because I helped all the time. I'm one of 7 kids, and mom ran a home daycare my whole life. She also had her own business making, you know, Yamaya natural products, like all natural products. And so I just grew, I came out of the womb working already. Like I was basically responsible when I was yay big and, you know, helping and doing this and doing that. So as I became an adult and I had to kind of separate myself from the little world that I had always lived in, I really struggled to say no to my mom. I really struggled to basically say no when I want to say no and say yes when I want to say yes. And that's not because of her. That's my own wound, okay? It wasn't because she'd make me feel bad. It wasn't because anything like that. I would just feel bad. Like, I would just be like, well, shit, mom's so busy and she has so much going on. And if I just did that for her, it would make it so much easier for her. But then it causes for me to go into this downward spiral of frustration and irritation and just all of it, because then I'm doing things I don't want to do. Then things take me 10 times longer than they actually need to, because God forbid I go to one grocery store and they have no peanut butter there and all she needed was peanut butter. So I go to another one, right? I mean, not really. I'm just making that up. But I'm just as an example, right? Like it would cause me so much freaking frustration, and I would already be frustrated because I already didn't want to do it, and I was already doing something that I didn't want to do. So then I would just get really irritated and really frustrated, and then I'd be like, why am I so freaking pissy right now? And then I learned boundaries. I've learned to say no. I've learned to say yes when I want to say yes and say no when I want to say no. But that's like a learning curve. Like that's something that is so deeply programmed into our society as well. That it does take a lot of, you know, healing and work to be able to really know like when I want to say no and when I want to say yes. And of course there's gonna be moments in time where you say yes when you really do want to say no, but you've logically thought it through and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Even though I don't want to, I will help you, right? But it's not something that happens all the time, right? That's kind of the whole point of it, right? So that'll be a really huge lesson as well for a lot of us, is learning to say no when we want to say no and learning to say yes when we want to say yes. And no excuses needed. It's like, no, thank you. I actually don't want to do that. Right? Like, why not live in a world where we actually do things we want to do or don't, you know? Again, within reason. Okay, cool. I have deep, deep shadow work and spiritual activations. That's a point, but I've kind of been talking about it the whole time. So then I have reflection of 2021 and 2020. Okay, so usually we reflect back on the last year, but I'm really being guided to get you guys to really look at like this COVID era that we're in, see where we've been in that, and flip that script to see where we're going. Okay, so look back on the last 2 years and really see how far you've come. Like really do some journal work of really connecting and seeing, you know, where were you when everything went to shit, when everyone had to go inside, and now where are you? Like really sit with yourself, give yourself the space and time right now to really honor your path, to really be proud of yourself, to celebrate. Remember I was saying that the light beings in the higher realms, they're really it's celebrating and happy and excited for us because they know that so much good is coming, right? And so we're being urged to do the same thing, right? Like we're being urged to love ourselves, to honor ourselves, to thank ourselves for everything that we've done, right? And even though we still have so much work to do and where we're going and all that in the creation phase, like don't even worry about it. Just sit right where you are and be proud of yourself right here in this moment, right? Because this is going to allow for you to create from this whole space, not coming from a space of lack, not coming from a space of like, oh, I need to do this in this time frame and get this done here, and like controlling everything and feeling like you need to do everything. You really don't have to. Sometimes just sitting and meditating. Albert Einstein used to say that whenever he couldn't solve a problem, he'd just whatever, deal with it later, go for a walk, and while he was walking, ping, there's the answer right from the universe, right? You'd be like, oh, that's what an answer is. And that's what I call downloads. Like when I sit here and I talk to you guys and I talk about getting downloads, they're really just like I'm literally, my consciousness, this vessel is understanding something. It's like an aha moment, but I'm receiving it from somewhere, right? Our thoughts come and go, right? Like they're thought forms, so they're actual things. So I can be tapping into certain information that's like, oh, that's how that works. Wow, that is so cool. And it comes at the most random times. Like one night I was going to bed and I was with my ex and I just burst out laughing, and he's like, what's so funny? And I was like, man, I don't know if I should explain this to you because it's really a lot. Like it's not just, it's like I just got a download and I just really understand some stuff right now. And he's like, okay, well, explain it. And he loved listening to me and hearing me talk about my spiritual stuff, and so I was like, okay, fine. So I explained to him that I realized that everything is just a toroidal field. Everything is just an electromagnetic field, right, of energy. And I know, like, it might, I don't know, it may not seem that funny to you, but I thought it was really funny, and especially in the place and time that I was in my life, it was just really funny. So those are downloads. Downloads just come where you just have these realizations, these aha moments, these understandings. That come through to you at the most random of times. So really, like, give yourself the space to receive these downloads, to have these deeper understandings and stuff like that, right? Yeah, so cool. Okay, so journal, guys. Lots of journaling, lots of reflection, lots of understanding yourself, asking the harder questions, asking the deeper questions, asking why you are the way that you are. Like if you have this really prominent fear in your world that you don't understand, ask for answers. You can even go to bed at night and ask for your dreams to give you messages, because that's your subconscious mind speaking to you, right? And so a lot of the time when we don't consciously understand something, all the answers are in our subconscious mind, right? We just have to learn to access our subconscious mind. And you can do that through writing, automatic writing. You can do that through dream work. You can do that through meditation. You can do that through breath work. You can do that through a lot of different things. It's just about finding what works for you, okay? I like to have a bath. I'm a little fish. I'm a Pisces. So I like to sit in the water and relax and connect to myself. Also, water is a conductor, so it helps to amplify our energies too, right? So if you can relax in the bath with some Epsom salts, get a little candlelight going, maybe burn some sage or some Palo Santo, set a tone, really treating yourself in that way, and just to set the intention that I would like to receive divine wisdom, work with whatever you need help with. That's really how easy it is, okay? We don't need to complicate things. We need to simplify them, really. Which was my theme for 2021, by the way, to simplify, because it's a complex little world I am here. Okay. So then I have inner child, guys, okay? So this incorporates purifying the heart, purification of the heart, and our wonderment of the world, okay? So it's like, what I'm seeing is like all these squares, all these people that have been taught, like this is right, this is wrong, this is up, this is down, this is left, this is right. Well, what's left to one person and right to one person, if you're mirroring them, is actually the opposite. So it all depends on perspective, and there's an infinite amount of perspectives in the universe. So we're really being urged to connect more to our inner child, to our wonderment, to like the craziness of the world, the fascination of the world. Like we live in such a beautiful place, and we've basically been desensitized to the beauty because we've been programmed to focus on things that are more material, and that's okay, but we're really being activated into this wonderment and enchantment of the universe again, our inner child. So I know that for me, when I became an adult, I really didn't know how to have fun anymore. I really did, like I was so serious all the time, right? Not to say wasn't still playful and fun, like on like a surface level, but like in reality, like I yeah, I was not a very fun person. Only because I was really, really depressed. I really didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to function. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know anything, right? And so the only thing I knew was that I didn't fucking know. So it was like, okay, Aurora, well, what do you know? What do you love? Like, what do you want? What is your biggest dream in the world, right? And my stuff would be like, I just want everybody to be happy, and I'm so tired of everybody suffering and being sad, and and I would express my own heart to myself. And then that's what showed me, wow, like this is my purpose. Like that biggest pain in my heart was actually my gateway into my awakening, it's my rite of passage. It's your rite of passage. The dark night of the soul is your rite of passage, right? To alchemize that pain and suffering into understanding, into wisdom, into kindness, into compassion, so that when people come into your world, you're able to not judge people, come with compassion, come with love, see them for who they are and where they're at, and not for the things that they've done, and not for any reason other than just they are a sovereign being on this spiritual path back home. We're all just walking each other home, right? That's what Ram Dass says. So, and it's the truth, right? Because we are all one at the end of the day. And I don't mean it in some like, oh, I ate acid one time and I felt like we were all one and now like namaste. No, I really mean it, like from the bottom of my heart, because I seriously understand so much about the universe and so much about the fabric of reality, that I mean, there's of course a lot that I don't know, but what I do know, I really know, and I really do understand. So yeah, I don't know, this is my passion, obviously. So activating to our inner child again, connecting to our inner child, doing things that are fun, doing things that are light. And not only that, it comes with a shadow too, right? Because when we don't give ourselves enough love and enough attention, then we feel rejected, okay? We feel like we're not seen. We feel like we're not heard. It's like you want all these amazing things to happen to you, but you don't want to put in the work and effort and energy. Or not even that you don't want to, you don't know how, right? And so then that leaves us in this like downward spiral of more confusion and more chaos and more uncertainty, right? Well, when we connect our inner child, when we connect to the part of ourselves that we once were, when we were a child, we were the most authentic versions of ourselves. But then what happened? Well, we said certain things and we got told not to say that. We did certain things and we got told not to do that. You hit a certain age and all of a sudden you're supposed to know all this stuff, but you actually just have to learn through trial and error, and you have to learn through a lot of negative reinforcement in this world. Thankfully, I grew up in a house full of positive reinforcement, which thank God, because I'm such a sensitive person, that if my parents had nailed into me that I was a piece of shit person, I really would have believed them, and I really would have lived from that place for my whole life. So the only thing that reinforced that was society, and thank God I don't really give a fuck about society and what they think of me, right? Because really I don't fit in that box and it makes them uncomfortable, and I have had to learn that, right? Because of course I took it personal. Of course I'm like, what? All I want to do is love, and that's not what I'm getting back. I'm actually triggering people. I'm actually making people say really mean things to me, and I'm not meaning to. So it causes a lot of confusion and a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. But I've since worked through that. I've since understood the truth of reality and my truth and what I'm here for, right? And so strengthening that and honoring that. So whenever you are lost, whenever you are confused, connect to that part of you within. Just close your eyes, connect to your breath, let go of everything out there, and connect to your heart right here and ask your inner child. Ask that version, that little boy or that little girl that you were when you were younger. Think about you on Christmas, you know, like, I don't know, just think like Christmas Eve, Santa's coming, you're so excited, you want to have everything perfect, you got to make sure that the house is clean or Santa won't come. That's what my mom always said. She's like, well, we got to clean the house or Santa's not coming. And just get into that, get into the fun of it, get into the spirit of it. Like, maybe you really like sports when you were younger and you're like, wow, yeah, well, I don't play anymore because where the fuck am I gonna play? Well, like, start doing things that are gonna help you to get to that place, right? Like, start go get a soccer ball and start kicking it around. Just like give yourself that time to just play and to have fun, or learn how to draw or play a musical instrument, or I mean, there's infinite. Go for a walk in nature. Like, go out in nature and say, I'm gonna go see if I can find 5 different types of birds when I go on my walk. Or maybe you want to see what tree you're drawn to when you go out for a walk, and then look up the spiritual meaning of that, and then you can activate not just your inner child, but also that your inner learning as well, like learning and knowledge and learning to see things from a different perspective, because you know everything has a spiritual meaning as well. You can look up like the spiritual meaning of a willow tree is I think it's emotional healing and strength. Anyway, look it up, find out, right? So there's different things mean different things, and you just look them up. Whatever your consciousness is bringing to you, it could be repeating numbers, it could be you know, like a lot of red cars. Look up what red means. Oh, look, if you're seeing a lot of red cars and you look up what chakra that is the base chakra. So maybe your foundation is shifting. Maybe it's like you've been waiting to hear back from a job or something. Again, finances, base chakra. And then you're like seeing all these red cars, and so you Google it. You're like, I don't know, spiritual meaning of red, and then you find out that it means this, and safety and security and finances. And then an hour later you get a call from wherever it is that you want to work, and they're like, hey, yeah, awesome, you're a perfect fit, like, when are we gonna start? And like, that's how the universe communicates with us. It is called synchronicities, right? When things align, when things come together with a purpose, right? So yeah, and then the inner child just loves that so much. Okay, I didn't even get into the new moon. It's already 57 minutes in. I haven't even pulled any cards. Oh my god, I just have so much information. All right, well, I still think this needs to come out, so I'm gonna just kind of be as quick as possible, if that's a thing. If Aurora can be quick as possible. Okay, so January 2nd, guys, we are entering into this new year on the 2nd with a new moon, okay? Like, that's incredible because it's like a giant reset button, okay? And it's in Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign. So the new moon energy is like a big reset already. And so we have the new year resetting, the new calendar, Gregorian calendar year resetting. And then boom, right there we have the new moon reset, okay? And the new moon represents the dark time in our lives. So we plant the seeds. When you plant a seed, you cover it up, you put it in the dirt, you water it, it gets sunlight, all that jazz, and then it grows. It has to come out of the darkness. So the new moon represents planting the seed, whereas the full moon represents reaping the reward, right? So we're in the new moon phase. It's a reset. This is where we plant our seeds, which is setting our intentions, okay? It is Capricorn new moon. Capricorn is an earth sign, and it is going to help us to really anchor in what it is in a practical way, in a very practical way, what it is that we want for 2022, okay? So it's not going to be unrealistic. It's going to be attainable. You're going to do things like like small things that are going to allow for you to basically, you're focusing on the foundation, right? So you're focusing on the foundation. You're saying, okay, I want to make sure that when I build my house, it's not going to fall over when we have our first like snowstorm or something, right? Because that would be bad, right? So you got to make sure that you have a solid foundation. And we're really being supported with this new moon in Capricorn, okay? Though it's gonna kind of make us kind of like fiery, like triggered a lot too, okay? Because I have in here, as much as setting our goals and all that, yes, beautiful, awesome. Sorry, I'm trying to say too much at once. So we're going to zero in on our goals for 2022 in a practical way, focusing on our foundation first. We're staying devoted and dedicated to a plan, but also being open for the magic of the universe to come through, okay? So we're not being rigid in what it is that we are like focused on, like, oh yeah, it's got to be this way and that way. It's like, okay, well, this is my vague thing. This is what my heart desires, and I'm going to let it go, release it to the universe, and allow for the universe to reward me with the amazing rewards that I so deserve, right? So, because Capricorns are very like, my brother's a Capricorn, I'm a Pisces, and so before I got into the more like adult version of myself when I was just a like inner child embodied, I just never understood him. I was like, you're so boring, like I don't understand you, like there's nothing fun that ever happens, like you just do the same thing every day, like you've read the same book 18 times, like I don't understand you at all, right? But now that I'm older, I can understand that there is a really beautiful side to that as well, and really being grounded and really being disciplined and really being dedicated, because that's also a form of self-love. As much as the freedom part of it is to have the diversity in the experiences, it's also to make sure that you have a solid foundation to stand on, okay? So that's kind of the energies that are coming in through this new moon. Now, some shadow energies that are going to be coming through is like blind aggression and kind of like investigating people, in the sense that really just making sure like, wait a minute, I'm just going to dial up here to my higher self and make sure that this is really in alignment, right? So it will strengthen oppositions with no trust or common ground, okay? So like if you're in a relationship, or if you are in a job, or if you have a friendship, or if you have an acquaintance, or whatever it might be, if you guys don't have trust and if there is no common ground, this new moon is going to be the falling out of that, okay? And the reason for that is because we don't have time to fuck around anymore. Like on the spiritual journey, on the spiritual path, like it is a very serious endeavor to walk, right? Like it really is like true discipline, true dedication to you and to your health and to your healing, right? And so when you have people in your area, in your energy, that you can't trust, that are shady, that just siphon your energy all the time, that you have nothing in common with, that you don't really know why they're in your field, this new moon is going to help to wipe that slate clean. It's going to give you clarity, and that's why you're going to be like investigating people, because you're like, wait a minute, like I'm trying to figure you out, and I'm trying to figure out me, and I'm trying to see if we're going to work together or not, right? And it's not like a wounded thing. It's not like, oh no, I can't trust you and I'm scared. It's like, no, I'm in my power and I'm in my strength and I'm in my knowing, and that's basically how it's going to go. Like I know what's good for me and I know what's not, right? And you're just not serving me. And it's not a negative thing, right? Like, it's not because I want to make you feel rejected, or it's for you. It's like, this is for the highest good of all, right? So this is for the highest good of all, including you and I. And so we just need to go our separate ways, and that's it. No hard feelings, right? I always say that the universe, rejection is the universe redirecting you, okay? So if you ever have an experience where you do feel rejected, where you do feel hurt, instead of kind of like wallowing in that, in feeling like you're not good enough, in feeling like something's wrong with you, take in this higher truth and this higher awareness that the reason that it happened was because you're being redirected. So the universe protects you by rejecting you, basically. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's the truth. And when you keep getting deeper and deeper into this understanding, you will just see, oh wow, like, yeah, I'm really glad that that person did this, this, and this to show me that they're not good for me, that I don't align with that stuff, that that isn't for me. It's not that you're not worthy of receiving love. It's not that you're not good enough. It's nothing like that. It's just that that it wasn't serving you. And so trust that and be grateful that you have this higher awareness and this higher understanding of the situation. Okay, so this new moon is going to bring a growing realization that you don't have any common ground with someone, and that you are realizing and growing an awareness to move on from what no longer serves. I already said that. Misinformation that we once believed is coming to the light. Okay, so like if someone's been lying to you, if someone's not been truthful, if someone's been whatever, this is going to come to the light. The truth will surface. So if there's a lot of falling out, that's the word I want. If there's like a lot of falling outs in certain things, even New Year's, like maybe you're like partying with people on New Year's or something, and something really big catastrophic happens and you find out about all this stuff. Well, it's the new moon. It's the new moon working its magic, okay? So be prepared, right? Be prepared to be realizing things and shedding things, and just understand that that is just part of it. You're in this phase right now of realizing and shedding, realizing and shedding, realizing and shedding. And it's nothing personal. It's not to attack anybody. It's not to say this or that. It's just like, wow, I'm coming to this higher awareness. I'm coming to this higher understanding, and I want to shed that. I don't want that part of my life anymore. I've learned from it. I've lived it over and over again, and I'm over it, right? It's really that simple. It doesn't need to be more than that, right? No more games and mind manipulation. So that's a huge one too, right? So if you're with somebody in your friendship or in a partnership where you feel confused a lot, where you feel ungrounded, where you feel like there's a lot of games and a lot of mind manipulation, like, you will just simply say no more, right? It will just be like, I'm not fucking dealing with that anymore. I'm going to see it for what it is, and I'm just going to say no thank you and walk away. And this is really that spiritual sovereignty being activated. I have goosebumps as I'm saying that, right? Just because someone isn't interested in you doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. You are simply not a match. Rejection is the universe redirecting you. So that's what I have, guys, for this new moon coming on January 22nd. Hopefully it wasn't too all over the place for you. But if it was, just look up some new moon energy forecasts for January 2nd, 2022. Hey, and it's on the 2nd, more twos. Oh my god. So it's 122022. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna pull from the Fairy Oracle this week just to see what comes through for this week and for the beginning of the new year. All right. Let's see. What do the fairies have to say? Two of Summer. Falling in love or making a serious commitment to someone. Forgiveness and the resolution of a problem. Don't give up. Your relationship can be healed. Okay. Beautiful. So with this card, I'm really being brought into the awareness to tell you guys that just because I say something's not serving you, like, for example, a relationship. Okay, you know what? Like, I'm not saying drop it and leave it, okay? Because there are many different reasons why something may not be in alignment, right? And that's why doing this inner work, doing this healing work is going to help you to realize what is it that is serving you and what is it that is not, okay? And it doesn't have to be a whole person. It could be your communication. Hey, me and my boyfriend have no idea how to communicate. He drives me fucking nuts. I want to freaking yell at her all the time because she's just so emotional and whatever. Then you need to heal that pattern within the relationship. You don't need to leave it. You don't need to say, you're the problem, you're bad, and point the finger. You need to realize what aspects of you are unhealed and what aspects do you need to heal, right? It's not always that that person is bad or wrong or anything like that, okay? So that's really what this card is wanting me to remind you all of. Just to say that, oh, let's see, somebody called me. Okay, just my sister. Oops, stuck the ring light on your face. I just wanted to make sure nobody was here waiting outside for me. So yeah, this is just to say that it's not always like, oh, I need to shed what's not serving me. When I say that, I don't really mean like, oh, we're going to break up and we're going to go on our separate ways, because that could cause more pain too, because your true authentic self might really genuinely love this person and might really want that connection. Your wounded side doesn't know how to accept the love, and nor does theirs, right? So it's not really about releasing what isn't serving you in that way, okay? So that's really what this card wants me to tell you guys, is like, just because I'm saying all this stuff doesn't mean that there isn't always another side of the coin, okay? So everything, we live in duality and polarity, so there's going to be a lot of different perspectives around one thing, right? And I can't explain everything to you guys on these videos, right? So I do my best to give a well-rounded response. So this one is trying to bring me back into my center when telling you guys about your wounded aspects, okay? It's just simply that, a wounded aspect, okay? So it's not even like a negative thing. It's just like part of duality and polarity, right? And so that's why coming back to your truth, coming back to your authentic self, coming back to your sovereignty, coming back to your heart, that is what's going to guide you. That is what's going to tell you, is this person for me? Is this person not for me? Is this job for me? Is this job not for me, right? So it's not as clear cut as just saying, oh, this isn't serving me, I'm going to leave. That's also a wounded part of you, okay? So it's like, how can I really hear my truth? How can I really hear my authentic self, right? 7 of Autumn. Have patience and don't worry. Take time to rest and plan your next steps. A prudent investment of time and money. Perfect, because this is again saying don't make hasty decisions, okay? Because it's not about, you can cause a lot more pain and suffering by just blurting out, I'm leaving you, never talk to me again, okay? Because that leaves that person in a whole new downward spiral, right? Really what you should say is, hey, I've been thinking about this, and where do you sit with it, instead of like packing up your shit and leaving when they go to work or something like that, right? Because then realistically you're going to be back there 2 days later with all your shit and nothing would have changed, right? So it's like, hey, I really want to bring my emotional maturity into this situation, and to be heard and to be seen. And how can we move forward in this situation? Communication. But in order for us to communicate, we have to be in tune with our authentic self, right? Because it's not always easy to say, hey, I'm hurt. Hey, that really fucking hurt me. Hey, I'm not okay with this happening. Hey, this or that, whatever. It's not easy, okay? And that's what this whole healing journey is all about, right? So then we have Queen of Winter, strong, patient, self-sufficient, and funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. Unmarried or divorced individuals. There you go, guys. So maybe for a lot of us, we are shifting out of that paradigm of feeling like we need a partner, feeling like that loneliness when we don't have a partner, feeling like we need that to be whole, and realizing you already are whole, and then living from that space and focusing on career, focusing on how you can really, you know, up level yourself, which this is totally resonating with my life, right? Because for once in my life, I'm not focused on a relationship. I'm not focused on somebody outside of me. I'm just focused on me. I'm just focused on my shop. I'm just focused on my studio and how I can be of service to everybody, right? And that is such a huge transition. So maybe that's also where we're going in 2022, is just really individuality, really stepping into our own, our us, who we are, not being someone's partner or someone's wife or someone's brother or sister or daughter or mother or father or whatever it is that you identify with, and just identifying with you, who you are and what that means to you, right? And asking yourself, how can I live a life of abundance and freedom, right? How can I really be happy? How can I really make an impact on the world? How can I really help people, right? Instead of being so focused on your own personal relationships and always being hurt and always coming back to the same problems over and over again. It's like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to redirect all this energy and effort that isn't getting me anywhere onto something that's going to serve me better, right? 8 of Winter, you have what it takes if only you believe in yourself. Thinking that you're powerless when you're not, and a lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Exactly, right? Totally aligns with everything I just said. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card from this deck. So yeah, like, not believing in yourself, guys. That's really what that card was all about. Not believing in yourself, not feeling worthy enough. So that's right here. That is this chakra right here, the solar plexus. And this is all about our self-worth, okay? So if you don't feel good enough, that's not your partner's fault. That's nobody's fault, not even your own. It's just love yourself a little more. Figure out, well, what is it? Why don't I feel good enough? Who said what to me when in my life? Where can I reclaim that part of myself, right? That fractal aspect that got left in time and space, right? You go back to that time and space and you take it back and you say, oh my God, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And now you're safe. Now you're here. I love you so much. And let's live happily ever after. I don't know. Say whatever you want. Whatever you need to hear, right? Be that for you, right? Okay, so I have the Lovers, which is 6, which is the energy of 2022. True love that is long lasting, choices made from the heart, and a return to good health. Yes, yes. And then 10 of Spring. Ask for help from others, all work and no play, being weighed down by too many responsibilities. Okay, I'm going to just ask for clarity on that one. 3 of Autumn, follow your passion when it comes to your career. Be the best at what you do, being compensated for your creative talents. There you go, guys. So perfect. So we're going to be, what did I just say? More confirmation. We're going to be stepping into more of our soul alignment with our career, with our finances, with how it is that we perceive the world, right? Asking for help is going to be huge too. Like, how do I know, like, how do we build a community when nobody asks for help? How do we help each other when nobody says I need help, right? So we're really being guided now. And it's like, I might not be able to help you, but I might know somebody that can help you, right? Or vice versa, whatever, right? So it's like, you never know what putting it out to the universe. And even just simply asking the universe, hey, I really need some help. Can I get some help? I don't even know what I need help for, but can you please send the right people to me that I need right now? And it'll come, okay? So that was cool. Cool. And then, oh my God, I have the Lightworker Oracle too. I really want to pull a couple out of this one. And then I'll do Work Your Light, and then I will go. Perfect. Paradigm shift right on the bottom. Okay. What's going on for the New Year vibes? First ray of power, and it was reversed. Okay, perfect. We're being activated into our spiritual power, our sovereignty, being able to hear our guides, being able to connect to the synchronicities of the universe, being able to really feel again. Men aren't allowed to feel and women feel too much. Fuck that bullshit. We're getting out of that paradigm and we're going to step into the fact that we're all human beings that experience a full spectrum of emotions, and that's totally okay. Hold your center in through that, right? So as you get your first ray of power and as you start to realize, holy shit, I really am creating my reality through my thoughts and my emotions and my awareness. Whoa. And then once you realize that, it's like, oh, well, you got to hold your center. You got to be grounded. You really got to know what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Like, how is this influencing your entire reality, right? And then cosmic heart and cosmic Christ. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. So that is our Christ consciousness being activated, Christ consciousness being our heart, okay? Our purity, our unconditional love, the aspect of ourself that just simply is, the I am presence, right? That part of you that I said is always worthy and nothing can take that away from you. That's what you're being activated into, right? Because you know that you are innately worthy of living in a beautiful, abundant life, okay? This is what we're being activated into. And then, of course, then the second ray of wisdom gets activated, right? So let me give you the storyline here. Okay, so you have the first ray of power being activated, which then teaches you how to hold your center, how to stand in your power, how to speak your truth. And then this activates your heart of unconditional love and compassion for not only yourself, but also humanity. And then we have the second ray of wisdom, right? Because our heart is activated and we can now access the wisdom of our heart, the wisdom of our power, right? Where is our power? Having power isn't a negative thing. It's just, what are you doing with that power? Like, I have a lot of power in my life and in my reality, and I choose to speak loving, kind words instead of cutting people with the power of my words, because believe me, I could if I wanted to. I just don't want to, right? Like, that doesn't feel good to me. And then we have divine grace, the law of efficiency. So this is all about working smarter, not harder, right? So when we learn to work with the universal flow of the energies of, astrology, of the seasons, of the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of life, learning our energetic body, learning our physical body, learning our mental body, learning our emotional body, learning all of these different aspects of ourselves, how to heal our inner child, how to heal all of our shadow aspects, how to heal everything that has happened from this lifetime and beyond. We are learning the law of efficiency, okay, and divine grace, because when you give yourself divine grace, then you're giving yourself space. You're giving yourself space to experience and to allow. Like, none of us are perfect. Well, we are, and that's the paradox, is that we're all friggin' perfect. But we're learning to step into this law of efficiency. In order for us to do that, we have to learn. We go through this learning curve, right? So we go through this learning curve of learning how to understand how we function, how we work, what is that makes us tick, and things like that. And then that allows for us to be able to hear when we're in the expansion, when we're in the contraction, when we're connected to our truth, when we're connected to source, when we're connected to our authentic self, and when we're not. And when we are, that is the law of efficiency, because we just navigate reality with so much more strength, with so much more wisdom, with so much more authenticity, with so much more truth, right? And so when we can live from that space, that allows for more synchronicities to flow, for us to, attract a more abundant life that is here to serve all. And an invitation to connect. So perfect. I'm going to end that deck of cards right there. An invitation to connect. And the bottom is sixth ray of devotion. Okay, so truly devoting to our sacred spiritual path by connecting to the eternal now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are going to do the Work Your Light Oracle, and then I'm going to go, and I'm really excited for everything that came through today, and I hope that you've really been resonating with it, and that it's really, I know it's a lot, I'm usually a lot, but stay lovey. I love it. Yeah, so hopefully you did get stuff out of this, and hopefully it is helping you to kind of ground yourself into where we are and where we're going, and to not feel so overwhelmed and so daunted by everything. Hey, it was just an hour, 23 minutes, and 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, Work Your Light Oracle. What you got? What you got? Inner temple. Oh, so perfect. So we end this one on the 6th ray of devotion, and we start this one with the inner temple, which is devotion. Okay, we have devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So we got the Christ consciousness as well. So activating our Christ consciousness, activating the crystalline grid structure within our DNA. Whoa, all these big words coming out. But yeah, so we are activating, and that's like our 12-strand DNA, and the crystalline structure is all kind of analogy and words that kind of represent like our spiritual DNA, our energetic DNA, our higher realm DNA that we all have access to, that we're learning to access more and to work more with, right? So that's what I mean when I say that. And here we go, the initiation, right? So this darkness that you are going through, that you are experiencing, the dark night of the soul, these are all your breadcrumbs, okay? All that pain, all that suffering, it's all leading you back to you, your true authentic self, and that will guide you to your life purpose, okay? So this is your rite of passage. You're going somewhere sacred, right? So this is an initiation into your inner temple, into your heart healing. So this week and into the new year, we are being initiated spiritually into our true devotion to ourselves, to love. Leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. Awakening. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. And Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. Guys, that was so perfect. Yeah, exactly. So for those of you that don't know, the Akashic Records is basically a place in the ethers, in the universe somewhere, a dimension, where everything is kept. All soul memory, all species memories, like all information of all of everything that exists. This is where you find it, in the Akashic Records, okay? So a lot of people will read your Akashic Records and tell you about your different past lives and stuff like that. Or you can even look into the Akashic Records to find information about the evolution of humanity, or how we got here, and all these different things. Right now, I don't access that information, but this is all held within this space, right? And we all do have access to it, right? So let me go through that again. We had leap, awakening, and the Akasha. Okay, so saying you are guided. So when you take that, leap, the universe awakens you as you connect more to trusting that you are divinely guided. And it's an initiation into your heart temple, into your divine temple. Okay, right on the bottom. I have to share that one. Don't dim to fit in. It's right on the bottom there. All right, let's get one more card here. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Gorgeous. What a beautiful way to end it. So you're awakening to your divinity. This week is going to be a huge spiritual activation, okay? Mostly because, too, you're in this lull of, 1 year ending, another year beginning. You're already naturally in this self-reflection. We're now 2 years into the pandemic. And it's a lot to take in. So it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do with it now? Well, we're going to wake the fuck up, and we're going to create a beautiful world. We're going to manifest heaven on earth. We're going to heal all shadow aspects and bring ourselves back into balance. It's not that the shadows doesn't exist anymore. It's that we love it. And we're very grateful that it's here to guide us on our way onto our evolutionary path of human consciousness, right? All right, guys. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. All right, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this beautiful channel for the week of December 27th. I hope that you have all enjoyed these energy updates that I've been doing since back in March of 2021. It's only been about 9 months or so, and I've evolved immensely, and I've had so much fun with you guys along the way. Yeah, so thanks for being a part of my journey. I can't wait as my shop evolves here to meet so many new people, to be pumping out courses, to be pumping out all this amazing, beautiful soul awakening content and activations, and just like watching people thrive, like just like seeing people struggle and watching them come in and really learning to love themselves and really understanding like the mechanisms of the mind, of the body, of the spirit, even all of it, of the universe. So I really, really hope that you guys get a lot of information out of this. And even if like your human doesn't get it, your subconscious mind is taking every word that I say. So don't worry about it. You're doing amazing. So I'm sending you guys so much love. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And next week when I record my video, we're going to be in 2022. So, what a trip, guys. What a ride. And the expansion continues. So, I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for stopping in. I will see you next week. Bye.